Hello, Leadership and Ethics. This is Tyesha Hutton. I'm doing an ethnology assessment right now on BHHC, which is the company I currently work for. I'm a recruiter in the department, and I will explain a recurrent meeting I have for our KPI project, which is Key Performance Indicators. We have a meeting each Monday for the entire recruiting department. It consists of our director, the recruiters in the office, and our IT department. We usually just go over everything that needs to be done for recruiting and the company as a whole. As a project subset of that meeting, they comprise a KPI team, which includes 2 recruiting managers, a Southern recruiter for the Southern Hemisphere, BHHC, myself, and an IT representative to come up with a weighted metric system for recruiters who are currently in our department. When we started, they did have a model that's probably from 2011, 2012, and it's based on 11 recruiters. Right now in our company as a whole, we have 22 recruiters, so the information is very outdated. The meeting is set on Tuesdays. It's usually in the conference room. The 2 recruiting managers, myself, the IT rep are in one office, and we conference in the Southern recruiter. Each week we go over the different goals that we have for the meeting. In the previous week, we usually assign tasks that each other has, and then we come together and we present the information. Just to give you some background information, the 2 recruiting managers, they've probably been with the company for about 5 or 6 years. The Southern recruiter has been with us for about 3 years, and the IT rep has been with us for 2 years. I've been with the company for 6 months, so I don't have all the information needed in the company or industry as a whole. I only know what I recruit for, and I'll just give you some information on that. BHHC is a home health company. They have several lines of service. I recruit for home health, which is when clinicians go out into the community and they help people who have ailments, usually Medicare clients that they're working with, and they usually stay in the person's home for 45 minutes to an hour. Another line of service is called home care. These people need a little more attention than the home health side. Usually the clinicians will go in and they'll stay with the client for up to 12 hours usually, and sometimes overnight depending on their needs. And then there's habilitation. Habilitation consists of therapists who go out and assist the clients, usually physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech-language pathologists, depending on what the need is. And they stay with the clients usually for 45 minutes to an hour. They can go to the client's home. We also are set up in assisted living facilities where they will go to the community and help them there as well. A lot of times our home health and habilitation cross paths just because of the way it's set up and the clinician staying for 45 minutes to an hour. So I usually will recruit for habilitation as well as home health. The recruiting managers and the other people in the department that I just spoke of, they have that background knowledge for the different service lines while I do not. So in the meeting, a lot of times they were doing the majority of the speaking while I was more of a listener. I called myself a participant rather than a contributor for the first part of the meetings. And we've been having this for about 3 months now. And each week, initially we were set up where I was to meet with our Career Builder representative and our Indeed representative in order to go over industry trends to find out how difficult it would be to hire different clinicians based on the position within a specified location. I went through every state with the representatives and I set up an Excel document to discuss all the ins and outs of the positions and how hard it would be to fill. Once we got to our second meeting, however, we decided that information was no longer pertinent to the goals that we had. I think we set ourselves up for too big of a project in a short period of time, so we had to break it up a little. By the end of our assessment, we decided to break the team up further, where the 2 recruiting managers who are within my office and myself and the IT person will work on one KPI, while the Southern recruiter, who is actually in the home care background, set up with their director and their team, and they put together a separate KPI that we actually are going to present next week. So none of this has been discussed or determined, but we've just been meeting in order to get to that process. As I said in the meetings, I didn't have much of a voice initially. I was more of a participant. where I sat and I took notes. The recruiting managers usually went back and forth about the different positions, how hard it would be to hire. I'll give you an example. For our home health side, maybe in hiring a director, it usually takes about 60 days. But on the home care side, it can take anywhere from 89 to 105 days, just because home care is more specialized in having the clinician stay for a longer period of time, the 12 hours that I mentioned before. So, as I said, I didn't have that information, so I learned a lot, and I discovered that my communication style was different from those who already had that industry knowledge. I actually ended up doing a DISC assessment where my communication style was conscientious while theirs were more dominant. So that was interesting too. I had the opportunity to learn a great deal about myself and how to communicate with other people who may have more knowledge than I do. By the end of our meetings, I did have more of a voice in the meetings. I found that I was better at analyzing and creating Excel documents based on the information we discussed. I want to give you an example of that. I worked together. I don't know if you can see it, if that's okay. I worked together with our IT team, and we put together a list of all the different office positions we do based on the total number of applicants, the phone screens we do, the submittals we send over to the hiring managers, who gets a first round interview, and then the number of hires. And we realized that 1 per 100 applicants for what we call our office positions is how long it